Okay. So everyone, let's welcome Ray, Kana, Hannah, and Midori with a big applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. We will introduce For the Children. Before starting our presentation, I have one question to you. Which has less chance to gather fund or money to take some action, children or adult? Of course, children, as you can see. So, FTC, For the Children is a group whose actors are children. So this presentation goal is to show what For the Children actually does to affect on the world and show some financial problem. So first of all, I will explain what is For the Children, and next Kana will explain local movement, and Hannah will present youth empowerment in developed country, and finally Midori will show financial problems For the children in Japan have. So first of all, please watch this video for 1 minute. Children is an NPO charity group founded in Canada, and FTC specializes in sustainable development in developed countries like Canada, like China, Sri Lanka, Ecuador, and Kenya. And above all, For the Children have two purposes. One purpose is to help the children in developing country, and second is educate children in developed country. For example, in developing countries, For the Children have founded schools, supply medicine, and teach how to write, how to read for girls who don't have less opportunity to take such education. For example, in developed countries, FTG hold present leader workshop or have a big concert to inspire youth to help the children in developing country. For the Children Japan was founded by Sanae Nakajima in 1999, but it have a financial problem now. It will be explained by Midori. And the characteristic of For the Children is actors are children, so children help children. For example, Claire Kerberger, who found For the Children, and it is 12 years old that he found For the Children. 12. And membership fee for for the children and for the children in Japan are free. So children can easy to attend these activities. And for the children have gotten many awards. These are examples, and above all the awards, in 2006 for the children, we won the Nobel Prize. So it clearly shows the power of for the children to affect on the world. So next, Kana will explain the local movements in developing countries. Kana, please.
Thanks, Ray. Okay, I'm going to introduce you about the local movements and achievement for the children. First of all, I want to talk about the real facts that are happening in developing countries such as the Philippines, Kenya, and Ecuador. And then I would like to introduce you about the valuable services that for the children are providing through those countries. Healthcare. I'm going to start talking about the healthcare. There is the fact that 9.2 million of children die before the age of 5 from poverty, malnutrition, and related causes. And also there's a statistic that shows that 12.2 million children in sub-Saharan Africa have lost one or both parents to AIDS. The poor healthcare is one factor of the vicious circle of poverty, generating serious problems such as child labor and etc. So, in order to change that, free children have effectively distributed $15 million to Asia, to Latin America, and Africa. The money that you used to make healthcare clinics, basic medical supplies, and workshops in order to teach about preventable diseases. Next, I'm going to talk about the water. It has shown that 80% of illnesses in developing countries are linked to poor water. Poor people in developing countries especially people in Africa, do not have access to clean water. So they have no other choice to drink water they have access to, so which is mostly brought from ponds and puddles. So ironically, the water that they drink in order to survive are actually depriving their own lives. So there's also a statistic that 2.5 billion people are without adequate sanitation facilities. Bad sanitation facilities contribute to the spread of waterborne diseases. So, in order to change that, Free the Children have successfully helped 1 million people to get access to clean water, and by constructing wells, rain catchment systems, and education on basic hygiene practices. Free the Children are doing these activities with the idea that clean water is not a luxury, but a basic human right. So, I'm going to talk about child labor. The concept of child labor means children working as adults. And it is said that about 158 million children are engaged in child labor. I had a bias that child labor was happening only in African countries, but actually it turned out that in Asia, in Latin America also, those things was happening. It was so shocking. There are three main reasons why this type of labor occurs. First one is that parents' income is not enough in order to support their lives. And second, children are easy to exploit since children in poverty have no voice, no power. Thirdly, the lack of law restrictions. And child labor sounds something very far from our lives, but actually we are quite close to this topic. Child labor. It is said that about 80% of cacao used in Japan is from Ghana, the country which is criticized for the use of child labor. It is true that in 2001, Japan has ratified the convention to prevent child labor, and tried not to import products that are used child labor. However, the reality is that companies are importing products that are free from child labor as far as they know. So we cannot say that for 100% that the products that we can get in shops are 100% child labor free. So, so the Free the Children have promoted to buy fair trade goods, and they have encouraged education of children as a way to stop child labor. However, actually, child labor is a big labor force, so we have to find other labor force that can substitute. So, next topic is poverty. Low income is the beginning of the vicious circle of poverty. It is said that about 1.4 billion people in developing world live in extreme poverty, and more than a half of the world population are living lives on a less than $2 a day. In order to stop poverty, Free the Children have focused on empowerment of adults so that they can find jobs and start their business and etc. So they focus especially on women's education and financial literacy workshops and microcredit loans. Thanks to those contributions, 30,000 women have already been now economically self-sufficient in education. The last topic is education. About 121 million of children in primary school age are not in school. If children don't go to school, they cannot learn how to write nor how to read. So those facts eventually leads to the lack of, limitation of finding jobs, and the vicious circle of poverty continues. So, Free the Children. Free the Children believes that education provides the highest return of social investment of developing countries. So Free the Children has built 650 schools, and 55,000 of children have got access to education. So now I want to talk about the Free the Children Japan. And as I mentioned before, Free the Children have established 650 schools. But on the other hand, Free the Children Japan only established 2 schools, one in Kenya and China. So the scale of aid is quite small. So, however, seeing the actual situation of developing countries, those countries still need more help from Free the Children Japan. So next, Hannah will talk about youth empowerment. Please, Hannah.
Thank you, Kana. Kana has talked about the local movements done in the developing countries. Now I will talk about the programs that are done in the developed countries. In the developed countries, Free the Children does programs for youth empowerment. Free the Children works to help free children from the idea that they are too young to change the world. Instead, they help them to realize their full potential as active and compassionate members of the world. If we're going to change the world, we have to change attitudes, we have to change priorities, and we have to change the way we think about the world. Free the Children works as an educational partner with schools, families, and children. There are many kinds of programs that educate, engage, and empower them. Regardless of the child's age, abilities, and interests, there's always a way of capturing their interests and making them help more in the world. Now I will introduce some of the programs that are done in both North America and the ones done in Free the Children Japan. First, North America. One really big event is called VID. And
it's been an adventure. It's been an adventure over 15 years. A lot of times we feel children came that close to no longer being in existence. You walk into a sports stadium that's now filled with screaming, passionate young people.
As you can see, that sorry.
It's been an adventure over 15 years. A lot of times we feel children came that close to no.
So it's a really big event, and not only the people in the concert hall, but also
It's
the people in.
A lot of times we feel children came that close to no longer being in existence.
So also not only the people in the concert hall, but people can see it in the internet as well. So people all over the world can participate in this event. Another program is called Weekly Curriculum Resources. It's made by educational consultants, and it can be used in both elementary schools and secondary schools. It aims questions at global issues that are currently occurring, and it promotes discussions in the classroom, and enhances the media literacy skills and the critical thinking skills of children. Motivational speeches. These are made by youth leadership teams, and it inspires children with incredible ways that they can do to change the world. Halloween for Hunger. This is done every year on October 31st, and children, instead of trick-or-treating for treats, they collect non-perishable food items and they donate it to local food banks. This event gives children the opportunity to help end hunger in their local communities. Adobe Youth Voice. This is a program that can be used in high schools in undeserved communities. It gives the students an opportunity to use cutting-edge multimedia and digital tools for social change. Life in Action. This is a program that is done in elementary schools, and it works to encourage students to eat healthy, maintain an active lifestyle, and practice social responsibility. Eat, play, and care. I've talked about the programs done in North America. Now I will talk about the programs done in Free the Children Japan. Kids Campaign. This is a program where meetings, walks, campaigns, and fundraising events are held to protest against the child labor. The money that is collected is used for purposes such as building schools in developing countries. Study tours and volunteer tours. The children have the opportunity to go to developing countries such as India, Philippines, Mongolia, Thailand, South Africa, and many more. Children can learn the harsh realities through activities such as homestays in slums, interactions with working children, visits to garbage heaps, and volunteering in areas where it was damaged by natural disasters. Going to the actual place will motivate and stimulate children into global commitment. World language classes. English classes are held 2 times a week, and the purpose is to enable students to use and speak English both to widen their perspectives of countries all over the world. And not only English classes, during the English classes, they also learn more about international cooperation and more about charity organizations. Not only English classes, but sometimes French classes are held as well. Summer camps. Summer camps are held in various prefectures, and each year the theme is different, but in general they learn about child labor and they also enhance their leadership skills. In the summer camps, they learn more about child rights and child labor, and the children have the opportunity to illustrate future views. Now Midori will talk about the financial problems of Free the Children Japan.
As you heard from Kana and Hana, Free the Children and Free the Children Japan does various programs, and in order to help all those programs helps children around the world. And however, you might have already noticed the big difference in the scale of these two organizations. So I would briefly like to go over the difference of Free the Children and Free the Children Japan. Free the Children was organized in 1995, and it has the head office in Canada, and it has the branch office in more than 45 countries. And when we look at only in Canada and America, there are more than 1 million people participating in these programs. However, on the other hand, when we look at Japan, it was founded in 1999, and it has already celebrated the 10th anniversary of this organization, but only 300 children are participating in this organization, and only 150 adults are supporting this organization. Like I mentioned, Free the Children Japan is still a very, very, very small organization, and it carries various problems, and one of the biggest one is the financial problems. Please look at this graph. Both in Free the Children and Free the Children Japan, fundings of the programs are mainly collected by youth by asking for donations, and other 20% is collected from the organizations and businesses who supports the organization. And however, the total amount of earning is different. And when I say in detail, Free the Children in Canada earns 300 times more money than Free the Children Japan. And I think you can notice the big difference. But both of these organizations, Free the Children and Free the Children Japan, are totally supported by donations. So it has a big goal to use all the donations effectively and efficiently for these two goals of Free the Children and Free the Children Japan. And when we look at Free the Children Japan, from the financial aspect, the total income of Free the Children Japan in 2005 was 10,067,000 yen. But like I mentioned, compared to this, it earned in Canada, the head office in Canada had 300 times more money than this. And because, like I mentioned, there are only small amount of people in this organization, only the 4% of the whole income is from the membership fees, and 20% of it is from the donations. And because it cannot support itself, Free the Children Japan introduces the fair trade goods to people and sell it and earns money from it to support the organization. And when we look at the use of the incomes of Free the Children Japan, 70% of it is used for the global programs, and only less than 20% are used for the advertising the organization. And the reason why more than 70% of the money is used for the global programs is that to do something in different countries, it needs a lot of money. And for example, to build a school in India, we need more than 2,500,000 yen. And now Free the Children Japan is focusing on helping the children in developing countries. And because of that, the times of advertising to the Japan is lessened. And if Free the Children Japan had money, it could use more money to advertise the organization. And Canada, which has enough money to advertise the organization, they can have an event like we did, like you saw in the movie, the big event that provides children to act more and ask the celebrities to be the advertising model for the organization. And by by doing so, by advertising more and more, the number of supporters increases and it leads to more help. So, as a conclusion, like we introduced you, Free the Children is a very powerful organization that helps countries all over the world. And Free the Children Japan is also working very hard to do the same purpose. However, Free the Children Japan needs your help. Not just to help the developing countries, but to let more people know and participate in the program. Therefore, we need your help, and Free the Children and Free the Children Japan claims that children can change the world. So children can change the world, so you also can change your world. And we hope that this presentation has provided you a new way of supporting the world. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
If you have any questions, we would like to answer. Yes?
So what exactly is the difference between Free the Children and Free the Children Japan? Is it places you're supporting, or?
It's like the head office of the Free the Children in Canada, and it's just like, it's the branch office, and you can do anything you like in that organization. So you can help any place you want, but the scale of it is different. Like Free the Children.
So is Free the Children in Canada supporting the same places as Japan is? Like, are they supporting India?
Yes. It
So
is
they're
also.
doing exactly the same thing.
It's doing the same thing, but from a different country, and from like what they do for developing countries are thought by the children who are living in that place. So Japanese children think what they can do for the developing countries and try to do what they can do. So that's from a different aspect. Any other questions? Okay.
What can adults do? Because you have said that actors are all children. So how can
Children are, Free the Children and Free the Children Japan thinks that actors are children, but to be honest, children can't do everything by themselves, and they need adult supporters. So adults help them think how they can help and educate children are the main purpose of adults in this organization. Any other questions?
So how is Free the Children Japan going about introducing the program to children in Japan? Like, are they going to schools and giving lectures, or are there teachers who know about the program and introducing it to the students?
They are trying to go to schools and talk about the organization and let children know, but because like I mentioned, the scale of it is very small, there are limits of doing that activity. And so most of the Japanese children don't know this organization. So that's kind of the, does that answer the question?
No, you're
Any, yes?
Is Free the Children Japan mostly in Tokyo, or is it all over Japan?
all over Japan.
300 members all over?
Yeah.
Are all over.
So
the world.
that's difficult.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Has there ever been We Day Japan yet?
No. Only through internet. Like,
We don't have enough financial funds.
Why do you reckon it's under 18?
Hmm?
Why do you reckon it's under 18? Because, like, I could do something about it. I still feel like a kid. Why do you reckon it's under 18? Like, not under 20, but, like, under 18. Is that, like, a specific motto? Is there, like, some kind of, I don't know, philosophy behind it?
Oh, maybe because in North America,
18 is
in Japan only
is
adult. So
Maybe they're following the.
Maybe in Japan it should be 20.
yeah. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.